Hey guys, Sam here, middle of the day, well, about 1 o'clock my time here in Austin. I thought it'd be a good time to take a look at a couple other majors. So I've got Ethereum and Litecoin on deck here. So no surprise, the movement is going to be very similar to what we're seeing in Bitcoin. We are in the midst of some sort of a complex correction. So what can we make sense of here, and do we have a trading opportunity? So I've left up here as I will often, and I will repeat this, where Elliott has value is when it's so obvious you can't help but see it, right? So I've left up this very clear 5-wave sequence that we had on the way up. And now we're in some sort of complex correction, right? And again, as I mentioned previously, it shouldn't be a surprise that there's complexity here, given the environment globally, politically, economically. Should be no surprise here. So we've got a complex correction on our hands. That doesn't mean we can't trade it. It just means that it's not going to be easy. But when is trading ever easy? Rarely, I would propose to you. Market is always trying to make it as difficult as possible on you. So when in doubt, let's step back. Let's look at it on a larger time frame, and as is often the case, the most simple explanation is what's likely to be the most valuable. So if we just do our very simple, basic analysis of just pulling from swing highs and lows. All right, so let's pull that. All right, what do we see? Well, we know, I mean, without too much struggle, we've had a 3-wave ABC correction that was very deep, and now we're trying to make sense of what's underway here, because it's not clear, it's not obvious, it's not as easy as it was, as we see on the way up, and now coming down, we're going into some sort of complexity here. So we have corrections connecting corrections. All that aside, all I see in the most rudimentary way to look at it is that we're hitting a 50% retracement. We hit it once, we got a reaction. We're testing it again. Here's the target. Algos will be targeting this down here at the negative 23.6 at 155. So there's a group of traders that are going to be defending this, looking to push this lower. From an Elliott count, if we were finished with the correction, if we had just a nice clean ABC, we'd expect to see this moving impulsively. That's not what we're seeing. So we get another ABC here, right? Clearly, again, it's very easy to see. We get another ABC right into the 50, which would imply that the resolution of this needs to be lower. But again, just keeping it simple. If I just draw low to high, where do we go? Right to the 50. So now we got a group of traders that are defending this 50, looking to push it up to that negative 23, which is up here around 330. So really, you could make a strong case that until we resolve out of this box, is there a trade? I suppose you could make the case that the second test up here is a tradable event. The second test is often the dangerous one, is there will be a big effort to try and push through it. But at this moment in time, middle of the day on Monday the 25th, the only trade there is either short or on the sidelines, just not in the market. Definitely a low-risk trade there. You put a stop just on the other side of the pivot high here with a potential. I mean, you've got much better upside profit potential on the short trade than you do trying to chase along here, anticipating a break of the 50. That's could it happen? Sure, but to me, that's not a wise place to enter the market. So, looking as we sit here right now, I propose to you the trade is to the short side with a tight stop, because this lack of resolution, there's no telling where we go from here. We don't know where it goes. And so, I think there's a very strong case to be made to be out of the market. But, we're always looking for opportunity. So if you don't like the idea of a short here, and I'll reiterate my awareness of my own bias, as well as I would propose to you that we all share a bias to the long side. So we're looking for a way to get long. And right now, I just don't see one. I just don't see one. We have too much confusion until, at the very least, we got to break out of this fib fight here from 50 to 50. We got to break out of that and get some sense of where we're most likely to go. And remember, whether it's fib draws or an Elliott count, it's only a potential roadmap, right? I mean, anything can happen. But we're just trying to look for probabilities and trade off of probabilities of likely outcomes. Right now, the most likely outcome is that we bounce at that 50 and we head lower. You know, if we start to go down to a smaller time frame and see, well, is there more value? Maybe it's just this is too big a picture. So I think I've got this over here. Yeah, so here it is on a 1 hour. So we're going from the 8 hour to the 1 hour. All right, so here's where it's gotten a little difficult. So we had this very clear ABC. I've got that currently labeled as an A, with the potential path here being that we've corrected an A, here's our B, and then we're going up into some sort of a C. So I would expect to see impulsive behavior in that C wave, whether it's in the C of the C or what could be happening here, which is the one wave of the C. But where this got a little tricky is we had a 5-wave leading diagonal down here in the A. Then we get a very clear ABC corrective, implying the trend continues lower. And then we get this nice setup for a 1, 2. There's the big 3. We correct into a 3-wave into the 4. We come down and we fail. We fail to get a new low on the 5th. So the way I'm counting this now is a truncated 5th. We don't get the new low. This wick action here takes this a little bit lower. We don't get the 5th here, so we get a truncated 5th. That's how I'm counting it right now. That makes sense here because coming out of that, if that's a completed ABC of B, now we go impulsive. So I can clearly get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming into the 50. And we get a few dollars from it, and now we're stalling. We're stalling. Do we get through it? No way to know. But right now we have the potential here. We have the potential for this to be setting up as a 1, 2. Remember, we're trying to trade 2s and 4s. So we have the potential for this to be a 1, some sort of a 2 coming, 3, 4, 5. Let me take that down a degree or several, and let me put a different color on it. And let's add the wave just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so potentially, we go into the 50 as a wave 1. We're going to retrace some sort of a 2 here. And then we've got more upside here to resolve this. And you'll see here I've got that little box that I like to draw here as a target between the 618 and the 65. Because that, of course, would be correcting the entire move lower. So if I... Right, so that's our 618 of the entire correction. So, you know, is it an ABC into an X wave into another ABC? You know, there's no way to know, right? This is an intellectual pursuit trying to label this from a trading perspective. How does it help us? Well, what we're looking for is resolution here, right? Remember, we're locked in the box between the 50 and the 50. We're caught in that box. If we're going to resolve, we want to look for resolution that would be consistent with this structure in this count. So we'd be looking for impulsive behavior to finish off a C wave here. And most likely path would be that resolves back down for one more test of the lows. Going to the big picture, where we left off over here, right? So this would be, so we'd be, you know, if I take it on the, I'll keep a wave on it. So very large scale. And let me put the wave on it. Potential, right? So we're carving out some sort of an impulsive structure now into a potential high here, which would keep this still an internal retracement of the major move down before we resolve one last time. And our target down here is 155. So I see right now larger scale trading opportunity on the short side, but conscious of the fact that I've gone impulsive over here. So the next time there's a long trade, if we're going to top here on this 5, then this makes sense. We could have this be an impulsive structure into a 1 wave. Now I'd be looking for the 2. So I'm simply drawing a retracement. You know, you'd have to check both of these because of the failed 5th. I'll work from the all the way low because I know algos would do that. I'd be looking for this to come down into this little box here. Between the 38 and the 50 as a potential initial entry. Now, I've got this wave 1 or this swing high level here previously marked because we had, right, so, you know, that's why there's value here. This had the potential to be a 1, 2, right? We get a 3-wave correction down into a 2. Look, and then we had this big move up, potentially a 3rd wave into a 4, and then we don't get it, right? So that's why we're constantly adjusting the wave count, because what we think is likely to happen is often not the case, and we get this move back down. Well, now that cannot be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This is corrective, right? We think it's there, it doesn't happen, and we go down hard, and we go down impulsively, implying that this is now, you know, here's our resolution of the A, the B. We finish with a 5-wave sequence, even though it's a little stretch here for the truncated 5th. But now we've got to finish this this 3-wave correction, and we're going to finish it in an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So somehow we get up here, and you know, we can't. We can only label it as it unfolds, right? We don't know for sure what's likely to happen, but what I do know for sure is that I've got an impulsive movement here. That's the only thing I can say with certainty. And we bumped into the 50. So now I'm looking for a retracement. If we get it here, there's a little trade here from 275. I'd be targeting up into 320, 330. So not a monster, but a nice little single, right? Nice tradable event. If we're just going to pause here and go back down to the 50, that again, you know, we've got to just adjust to what the market presents to us. And is there a trade there? Is there a trading opportunity? You know, it's a really valid position to take, that until we see resolution here and we get more clarity on how the market is unfolding, that a good place to be is on the sidelines. And maybe we stay out of the majors, right? Maybe we just need more resolution to get more clarity. You know, sometimes we can look to force a trade because we like the excitement of it. Being in the market creates emotion. It creates anticipation. It creates excitement for us. But you got to be careful of that. And if you don't have something that you really like the look of, there's no reason to take the trade, because if it explodes here to the upside, well, that just helps us quantify what's likely to come. If it tanks down to, you know, we make a deeper retracement, then we can get a handle on it more than we have right now. Right now, we're trying to make a case for a trade, and often if you're trying to justify a trade because you want to be in the market, that can lead to a series of losers. Let the market reveal itself. Right? It will reveal itself. There will be resolution between these two 50s. Right? So be patient. That's all, you know, hard to go wrong being patient. Wait for your spots and don't feel a need to be in the market. Don't let the fear of missing out cloud your judgment. All right, I'm going to wrap on that one. I'll be back with a follow-up on Litecoin and Dash in a few minutes. Okay, that's it for now.